Daf Mem Aleph Amud Beis, begin Daf Mem Aleph Amud Aleph right at the bottom. Amar Rava Achla, no. Rava says if a person ate the Korban Pesach, no, only partially roasted, so he's over. So if he does that, he's like Stein. He gets 2 sets of malchus. Now, why is it 2 sets of malchus? Because the pasuk says Al Toich Lamenu No, Ovashal Mavushal B'Mayim Kim Sliyesh. The Torah says you can't eat it no, so he's over on the love of eating it no. But it also says Kim Sliyesh, so we connect the Al Toich Lamenu to the Kim Sliyesh. Now this is not Sliyesh, so he's over on the love of not eating it Sliyesh. Mavushal, if it's boiled like a shtaim, is also like a shtaim for the same reason. It's mavushal, so he's over on the law of eating mavushal, and it's not sliyesh. No mavushal, if he ate, whether there's a shear of no and mavushal, then he's like a sholish. He's over for no and mavushal, and also it's not sliyesh. That's what Rava holds. But Abaya Amar ain't like an alav shebeklolis. Abaya says no. The ki'im sliyesh is considered a alav shebeklolis. It's not specified, and the rule is that ain't like an alav shebeklolis. Now ki'im sliyesh doesn't specify what that is. It just says that it can't be other than something that is roasted. But what that other is, what that other thing is not specified. So it's true that no is not sliyesh. It's true that mavushal is not sliyesh, but that's not specified. The Torah just says that ki'im sliyesh, and therefore Abaye says ain't like an lav b'klos. You don't get malchus for that lav. Similar to what we said before, tartu deloy laki. That in Abaye, explaining Abaye, what he means to say that tartu deloy laki. If he ate from the chatzon or the zag, he does not get an additional set of malchus from mikol asher yasmi given a yain. But that's only if he eats one of those as well. But if he didn't eat the chatzon of the zag, he ate some other part of the grapevine. So he ate some other part, an edible leaf or something to that nature, then he would get malchus, because he's not getting malchus for the chatzon of zag. But that he also would not get malchus for that, because nothing has been specified. It's not similar to the prototype of chasima, and therefore there's no malchus. Coming back to the Korban Pesach, if a person ate gazayas for the Korban Pesach, that was not only partially roasted, and it was still daytime, he's potter. He's not over the lav. The lav is over only from the nighttime. Gazayas no mishchashecha, but if he ate it after it's dark, then he's chayiv. That's when the isser is. If he ate a gazayas of sli, it was mi b'yayim, it was from the daytime. Lo yipasel atzmi b'nei chabura. The halach is that the Korban Pesach cannot be eaten in 2 places, and it cannot be eaten with 2 separate chaburas. Now, so if he ate it in nighttime, as we'll see, in 2 different places, he's over. But if he ate a kazayis mi b'yayim, that's not called an achila of the Korban Pesach. It's not the zman of achila. So therefore, it doesn't pass himself from eating it with his members of Chabura, because the eating that he did prior is not called an achila of the Korban Pesach. But if he ate a kazayas sli and it was already nighttime, that is an achila, then he passes himself with b'nei Chabura, because he can't eat it in 2 places. And he ate, if it's a mechashecha, that's considered eating 2 places. Tanyida, we learned another brayso. You might think if he ate a kazayis nami b'yoyim, then he should be chayav v'dinu. And I would say that, and would have a limud to teach me that that should be the case. Why is that v'dinu? Ma b'shah sheyesh b'kum achal tzli. In the nighttime, when there's a mitzvah to eat it roasted, Yeshna b'val teichol no, the isser of eating it no applies. So when you have the isser of eating a Korban Pesach, and you have to eat it roasted, the meaning at nighttime, there's an isser of eating it no. So Yeshna b'val teichol no, b'shah she'ena b'kum achol tzli, in the daytime, where there's no mitzvah to eat it roasted at that time, eina din she'yeshna b'val teichol no. Certainly you should say there's an isser of eating it no. So therefore, you might think, based on that limud, that you would be chayav for eating it nomi b'yom, or perhaps not. You'll say perhaps that in a time when there's no mitzvah to eat it roasted, that there is an isser of eating it no. At the time when there is a mitzvah to eat it roasted, there's no isser of eating it no. Perhaps you'll say that you should look at it a different way. That the time when there's no mitzvah to eat it shlit, when you're not mitzvah to eat it shlit, to eat it roasted, then you have the isser of eating it no. So meaning that's in the daytime. But at the time when there's a mitzvah to eat it roasted, the isser of eating it raw, partially roasted, doesn't apply. Well, Tatama, and don't wonder on this, meaning why should I say this type of approach? Because you see at the nighttime, now you don't eat the Korban Pesach roasted in the daytime. At the nighttime, you do eat it. So therefore I'd say the nighttime is now what's matter. So perhaps I'll say that similar by no. Just like by tzli, you don't eat it in the daytime, but you eat it in the nighttime. I should say the same thing by no. So they say by no, I'll say the same thing. That in the daytime there's an issue, but not at the nighttime. So perhaps I'd say that, how do I know not that? Talmud Leimer al taychlu mimena na mevashel mevushel b'mayim kim sliyesh. The pasuk says, don't eat it no or boiled ki'im sliyesh. Shein Talmud Leimer ki'im sliyesh. Why does the Torah have to say ki'im sliyesh? Why does it specify then that it says you can't eat it no, you can't eat bashal mevushel? Why does it say ki'im sliyesh? Ma Talmud Leimer ki'im sliyesh leimer alacha, to teach you when you have a mitzvah to eat it roasted, meaning at nighttime, that's when the isser of eating it no applies. But in the time where roasting, don't eat it roasted, at the time when you're not mitzvah to eat it roasted, meaning in the daytime, where you don't eat it roasted, you don't have the isser of no as well. So the isser of no is related to the mitzvah of shlit. The mitzvah of shlit is night, the isser of no is at night. The mitzvah of shlit is not in the daytime, the isser of no is also not in the daytime. Rabbi Yomer, a different halach, he says, Ekrani Boshel. The Torah could have said Boshel. Matam Alem Mevushel. Why does the Torah say Boshel Mevushel? Why the double Boshel? Because you might have said, I would have said that the Isser applies only if you boiled it after nighttime. How do I know? Even if it was boiled in the daytime, how do I know that as well? Talmud Leimer Bashal Mavushal Mikol Makam. It says a double Lashon Bashal Mavushal Mikol Makam. So that teaches you that no matter when it was boiled, the Isser applies. What do you mean? We already darshan that double lashon of bashal levushal. He darshan the teacher Slei Kedar that if it was cooked in a pot without adding other liquids, it was just boiled in its own juices, that's also mevushal. And also either if it's boiled in other liquids aside from water. So we already darshan that double lashon. So the Gemara answers, Im ken lemakro oy bashal bashal. There's two limudim here. One is from the double lashon that it says. It could have said bashal. It doesn't have to say an extra lashon, a second lashon. But also we make another drasha from the fact that it changes the lashon. It's not consistent. It could say oy bashal bashal, using the same language bashal bashal, or it could have said oy mevushal mevushal. My bashal mevushal, but now not only does it repeat the word, it says an extra word, but it changes the lashon. So why do we dash from that? We learn out two things from that.